Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another hard-hitting episode of the Callous Mind Talking Head Sportscast. This week, I am making my 2024 National Football League Week 16 predictions, along with just having a discussion at the end of the show about what I plan on doing with the channel moving forward into 2025. And I'll also have some recommendations for you and your families. So without further ado, let me jump over here and get into this. All right, so the 2024 National Football League Week 16 schedule kicks off tonight, Thursday, December 19th, 2024. That's an AFC West matchup featuring the Denver Broncos at the Los Angeles Chargers. And this game is probably for a playoff spot, really, quite honestly. And I'm actually going to take the visiting Broncos on the road here. I don't have any rhyme or reason other than I feel like they're playing pretty good. I think Sean Payton has the Broncos believing. And but this ought to be a nip and tuck game. It's probably going to be, something like 30-27 or 27-24. I would imagine it's going to be pretty close. It could go either way, but I'm just going to go ahead and lean toward giving the nod here to the Denver Broncos. Saturday, we got Saturday NFL this week. That's Saturday, December 21st. 2 games. First one features the Chiefs and Texans. The Texans visiting the Chiefs. And I'm not sure whether Patrick Mahomes is playing in this game, and I'm not really sure that matters anyway. It really doesn't matter for the Chiefs' playoff positioning. So I would think if Mahomes is even questionable, I wouldn't play him if it was me, because if they have Carson Wentz backing up there, I think he can probably do at least the bare bones minimum to get the Chiefs the win. They've been living on the edge even with Patrick Mahomes playing, but I'm not sure that the Texans are ready to go in here to Kansas City with the AccuWeather temperature being 34 degrees there at game time. I'm not sure the Texans are ready to come in there and win that game anyway. So I'm going to take the Chiefs at home, backup quarterback or not. The next Saturday game features the Steelers and Ravens. This is probably for all the marbles in the AFC North, I would imagine. And I'm going to take the Steelers. Lamar Jackson hasn't done well against the Steelers. And once again, this is going to be just a classic, brutal game. 34 degrees outside, so it's going to be quite brisk. But I'll take the Steelers here to win this game and subsequently also win the AFC North. And then Sunday's games start with the Arizona Cardinals visiting the Carolina Panthers. The Cardinals still have something to play for. They can still make the playoffs, but I'm not going to get into all those scenarios because, as I've already mentioned, I think it's ridiculous. Is it possible? Yeah, but it all starts with you and you winning your games. According to this, Arizona's a 5-point favorite. But the weather's supposed to be 42 degrees there, so that's not real conducive to a team that plays inside in the heat out west, a team traveling from west to east. All these things go against the Cardinals. However, the Cardinals do have a history of going to Carolina and winning when they're not supposed to. But the odds makers say that Arizona's the favorite in this game. I believe they are, and I believe they'll win this game, so I'll take the Cardinals to beat the Panthers. The Jaguars and Raiders. I'll take the Raiders here. This is like the toilet bowl. But I think the Raiders can get this win. I've said that a lot. It looks like they're actually the favorite in this game by 1.5. Ooh, such large favorites. But anyway, I'll take the Raiders here at home to get a win against the visiting Jaguars. The next game, the Giants visit the Falcons. And the Falcons are allegedly starting Michael Penix for the rest of the season. This is probably a good team to start him against because the Giants are terrible. They're certainly not football giants by any stretch of the imagination. But the Falcons still need to win to keep pace with the Buccaneers. And I know they have 2 games in hand against the Buccaneers, so if they end in a tie, then the Falcons would take it. But, man, do you really want to start a rookie right now with your playoff chances hanging in the balance? And, if you do make the playoffs, are you really going to start a rookie in the playoffs? I mean, those are just some kind of questions I have. Now, maybe I'm way off base here, but I doubt it. So, anyway, I will go ahead and take the Falcons and their rookie quarterback in this game. We'll see what happens. The next game, NFC North battle. Lions visiting the Chicago Bears. This is not a real good game for the Lions here because they are playing at Soldier Field. It's going to be 34 degrees there. And the Lions have suffered some serious injuries after the Buffalo Bills game and or during the game. So, but I think the Lions are just a better team than the Chicago Bears, period, plain and simple. And I think they can go here and get this win. So I'll take the Lions on the road at the Bears. The next game is the second Battle of Ohio of the year. Looks like that game is going to be 33 degrees in Cincinnati for that game. And I think the Browns have just been, disappointing this season. The Bengals have also been disappointing, just not as disappointing as the Browns were. So I'll take Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals at home to get the win against this visiting Browns team. The next game features the Tennessee Titans visiting the Indianapolis Colts. Classic AFC South matchup. And I will take the Colts at home to get the win against the visiting Titans. The next game is a super interesting one for me. 11 a.m. on CBS, the Rams visiting the Jets. AccuWeather temperature allegedly is going to be 28 degrees at game time, and damn is that brisk, baby. So this does not bode well for the Los Angeles Rams, who play in Southern California in a dome, going outside, traveling from west to east, and playing in 28 degree weather. Now the Jets are coming off of a win, but it seems to me like they're a little more used to things like this, and certainly their starting quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, is used to playing in the cold. Now, the Rams are not the Jaguars, but this is going to be a tough game for them either way, in my opinion. So I'm actually going to take the Jets in this game, and the only reason is because they're playing in an environment that I just don't feel like the Rams will be their strongest in, and that the Jets always play in that environment. So I'm going to take the Jets against the Rams here. The next game is an NFC East matchup featuring the Philadelphia Eagles visiting the Washington Commanders. Looks like game time temp is going to be 32 degrees. And man, that's just tough. I really want to take the Commanders in this game, but the Eagles have impressed me a lot. Now watch, once I say this, the Eagles will go there and lay an egg, and the Commanders will get a close win. But anyway, I'm going to take the Eagles in this game to fly, capture the NFC East crown, and rain on the Commanders' parade there in Washington. Next game, it features the Vikings visiting the Seahawks, and I'm hoping another NFC North team can do the Cardinals a favor for a second week in a row here. This time, I hope it's the Vikings that can go into Seattle and get this win, and that's exactly what I'm picking because I'd like to see that happen. So I will take the Vikings on the road to get the win at the Seattle Seahawks. And the next game looks like it's going to be the coldest game of the weekend. This is an AFC East matchup. The Patriots visiting the Buffalo Bills. And according to what I'm seeing here, the AccuWeather temperature for this game is going to be 17 degrees. Oh, good Lord, that's cold. And, the Bills, they thrive in this environment. My only question would be, is it time to start putting in the backups, or are you still desperately clinging to hopes that you can get that number 1 seed in the AFC? I don't know. It might be too early for the Bills to start resting people just yet, but I'll take the Bills at home against the visiting Patriots. The next game, the 49ers visit the Dolphins. And this game is kind of a coin toss for me, just because, me personally, I'd like to see the Dolphins win. I know that the 49ers have been really banged up, but I've said it before, I'm kind of a closet Miami Dolphins fan, and I'd like to see them win this game to keep their ever-diminishing playoff chances alive. But I think that's pretty much over. But I will give the Dolphins the nod here because they are at home. So I'll take the Dolphins at home against the visiting 49ers. Sunday Night Football features the Buccaneers visiting the Dallas Cowboys. This is an interesting matchup, but I think the Bucs can go in here and get this win against dem boys. So I'll take Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road to get the win at Dallas. And then Monday Night Football features the New Orleans Saints visiting the Green Bay Packers. And it says temp for this game is going to be 34 with a chance of precipitation. So that means, probably sleeting or freezing rain. So that's not going to be good for a dome team coming from New Orleans. And the Packers, once again, this is their bread and butter. This is one of the things that helps them this time of the year. So I'll take the Green Bay Packers at home to get the win against the visiting New Orleans Saints. All right, let me just take a look here at the chat out here. See if I got anything. Nope, nada. All right. I wanted to just highlight this article real quick. This is exclusive content, ranking worst mistakes for all 32 NFL teams since 2020. And this really just is an exercise in hindsight, It's kind of funny to read some of the stuff, but I'm a little cynical when it comes to things like this, just because, hindsight's always 20/20. So it's easy to see mistakes when you're, 2, 3, 4 years past them. It just wasn't as easy to see those mistakes at the time. And I don't ever fault anybody for trying to improve their team, either via coaching or by acquiring players or whatever. It's just, one of the things about team sports and systems and personnel and coaches is it can't be overstated how important it is to come into a good functional situation. And I always say this about Patrick Mahomes, and I'm not discounting his abilities, and I'm not saying that he's not a great player, but what I am highlighting is the fact that he came into a really good situation. He had a good mentor in Alex Smith in front of him. He had a good experienced coaching staff with a head coach, Andy Reid. And a lot of these young guys and or veterans may not have that. So as a coach, you need to be able to take advantage of the skill set of the players that you have on your roster, or acquire players that fit your scheme. And sometimes I just feel like these guys acquire a name thinking it's a fix, but it's not really a fix if it doesn't align with your strengths, okay? And so this kind of leads me to the topic of Antonio Pierce with the Raiders. I keep seeing rumblings on my phone about, maybe Antonio Pierce is going to get fired and stuff like that. And listen, I believe there's probably a real good chance that he could get fired. But the reality is, should he get fired? I don't necessarily think that it's fair to fire Antonio Pierce after the season. I know that it's been terrible. It's been terrible for Raiders fans, and it's been terrible for me. Listen, I get it. But did you guys really give this man good ingredients to make dinner, or did you give him trash and tell him to whip up a five-course meal that was just spotless, shining, and tastes good? I mean, the Raiders have suffered a tremendous amount of injuries, but also they never had a real true QB number one this season. They've just kind of been patching over that shit. And so how can you let one foolish coach like Josh McDaniels, fracture your relationship with your quarterback Derek Carr, and then he left, and then you've never replaced him with anybody even close to adequate. So I'm not saying Derek Carr was the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I am saying the Raiders made the playoffs when Derek Carr was their quarterback. So what do you got now? So until you fix that, I'm not sure. Just if you're not going to fix the quarterback, then changing the coach is meaningless. It's meaningless because that quarterback is the engine that makes the whole damn thing run. If they are incapable, if they turn the ball over too much, or God forbid, throw interceptions to the team so they didn't only turn the ball over, but they scored points for the other team, it's going to be damn hard for you to win. And I don't give a shit who your head coach is. So, just going to say that. All right, so moving forward with the Callous Mind channel going into 2025, I'm going to try some things which will be well, first, let me start by saying that I just got my 200 subscribers. So whoever that was, thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate that. And I sincerely appreciate everyone who views and contributes to this channel via the comment section, via the chat, and during the live streams and all that. I appreciate you guys. I do. But I'm trying to figure out if I can keep doing this or not. And a lot of that's going to be contingent, I think, here on the first quarter of 2025, only because I need to see some improvements in my numbers as far as my view count, but I also probably need to increase the workload on my end where I'm creating more videos per week. That way I have a greater opportunity to get eyeballs and things of that nature. Because, I didn't necessarily set out with this channel to make money, but it would be nice. And the reality is that I can't necessarily keep doing videos forever for free. And what I mean by that is I'm investing my time in it. And so if I could be investing my time in something other than this that was making me money, then essentially doing YouTube and Rumble or wherever is costing me money because I'm taking time away from other activities to make videos. So ideally, I'll make money off of these videos, but I'm not there yet. So that's what I hope to work toward more in the first quarter of 2025, and then I'll kind of see where it goes. So this theoretically could be my last season making football predictions. I'm not sure, because I figured honestly that it would be a bigger success than what it is, and maybe I figured wrong. But I just thought football was more popular than the views that I'm getting. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's my delivery. Maybe I'm boring. I don't know. I'm just kind of scratching my head and talking out loud. But the final things I want to say today is, as we approach the holiday season, I want you guys to think about your families and think about who you would like to interview. And the reason I say interview is My paternal grandmother died in 2018, and I never got a chance to sit down and interview her about her life on video. I do have an audio recording of her, so I can still hear her voice today, but it would have been nicer if I could see a video of her. So what I would encourage all of you to do is, your family members who mean the most to you, you should sit down and interview them on video. You know, go ahead, write down your questions, and then just sit there as if you were a journalist and interview your family member. That way you always have record of them. You have an insight into their life that you probably wouldn't otherwise have. And you have, you know, that video that you can pass down from generation to generation to generation. That way the generations don't get so far apart. They actually, you know, you can kind of meet your family member on video. Now maybe you will never have met them in person, but you will feel like you know them because of the interview that bridged the gap. So that's just a recommendation coming from somebody who procrastinated for too long and didn't get the opportunity to do that with my grandmother. But I actually plan on doing that with my mom here very soon as well, as she gets older. And you know, even though my dad is not usually a big talker, I may try to set him down and interview him as well. So, and then I also want to say that during daily life, we can't always control what happens to us, but we can damn sure control how we react to it. So that's especially important in a stressful time such as the holiday season. We can all use a little more grace in our lives. We can give more grace to ourselves and each other. So with that, I will sign off from this live stream. I thank you all for taking some time and spending it with me. As always, please, please, please be good to yourselves and each other. And I will speak to you all again next week on Tuesday for the Tuesday video upload. This was the last live stream of 2024. And but I'll let you know when the first live stream of 2025 is going to be. So you guys be good out there, and I'll talk to you later. God bless.